Hey everyone, Lauren from A Girl and Her Wool here. So today I'm going to be talking about some of my 2021 goals. So this is going to be some crafting goals and some business goals, as well as kind of my overall theme for the year for 2021. I will say I am going to be recording a few vlogs this morning, so you're going to see this sweater, this look, over the next few vlogs, and that is, as you will see, one of my 2021 goals of just trying to get ahead and stay ahead. And so let's get into it. So I should also say off the bat that it is early in the morning. I don't normally record this early in the morning, and my cats are awake and alive, I guess, so you're gonna hear meowing in the background as they demand attention that I'm not going to be giving them right now. So before we get into it, the other thing I want to say is that I set up these goals kind of assuming things are how they are now. I know that might not be kind of what other people are doing, because we all do expect to hopefully get back to some sort of normalcy as we get vaccinated, and hopefully, hopefully all get vaccinated. Hopefully things start to open up and get safer for all of us to resume activities we were doing before the pandemic. But I will say that I don't know what's to come, and a lot of these things that I'm going to be talking about I'm basing off of like 2020, and so I might need to revisit these goals, is what I'm saying later on in the year. For right now, these are kind of 2021 goals as of now with the scenario that I'm living in today. And for reasons that I'll get into as I talk about the goals, you'll kind of see why. But just putting that out there that these very well could and hopefully somewhat change throughout this year. All right, so I'm gonna start with knitting first, because that is my main craft. And so in previous years, I would use kind of Ravelry's challenge thing. They haven't done it for many years. I think like 2 or 3 years at this point, where you could make a challenge for yourself on the number of projects you want to complete that year. And it's like that simple, just a number of projects. And I would normally fill that out, because you throw the word challenge on something and I sign myself right on up. And I think that except for 2020, I think there were 3 years of this. So I must have started in 2018, and I think I hit the goals 2018, 2019, and in 2020 I was 1 or 2 projects short. This year I'm not going to set a number goal on projects, just because my knitting time has become hand dyeing yarn time, and there's no reason for me to put pressure on myself to knit. It is my happy thing to do, but I'm going to have a lot of goals this year, and number of projects completed for knitting is just not going to be one of them. Usually how I would do it is I would have some idea of the things I wanted to complete in that year, and that would kind of be my basis point. So like basically the upcoming projects I had planned, or like last year I knew I wanted to use a lot of my stash, and so I was planning projects for that, and that's how I kind of counted it up, and then like add a few more on type of thing. This year I have like 1 project planned, maybe 2, and that's it. And so there's like no pressure there. I'm not even going to set a goal of like knitting X number of times per week, or like have a goal of knitting for 30 minutes a day, like to start my day, anything like that. I'm just not doing it, and knitting will come when it comes, and it is there for me when I need it. I will be knitting this year. I'm just not gonna set goals on it. And I think it'll be interesting to look back on this like at this time next year and see like how much I did accomplish in knitting, especially if things do open back up, because if I start commuting to work, I get a lot of my knitting done on my commute actually. So that's another reason why I probably didn't knit as much this year, because that's time that I'm like legit just sitting somewhere and I like can't actually do anything else. So that we'll see if I get back into knitting, and especially knitting socks when I'm commuting again. So the one project that I kind of mentioned that I have planned for knitting is the Radvent Throw. So if you guys have been following along, my Advent journey is a miserable fail. I mean, it's not a fail in the sense that like I was just too lazy to do it. I legit just didn't have time to do an Advent project, and I was going to start with the Advent wrap, which actually you see behind me here. I did not knit this. That I was going to do with my 2020 gradient Advent calendar. And then because I was gonna have this one, I decided not to do that, not to have basically two samples of the same pattern. And so I was gonna do the Adventuresome wrap, which I did start, and I'm a few colors in, but again, I just didn't even get it done. So, or really started. So I wanted to do the Advent throw in 2021, and I had no idea what I wanted to use for it. So I had plans to like take one of my regular gradients and just kind of like mix and match colors around there and add more in type of thing. And so because I didn't get anything done with my 2020 Advent calendar, and I still want to knit with it, I'm just putting them together, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm doing the Advent throw with my Advent calendar, and so I'll just work on that throughout the year and add 2 squares per month. If you don't know, it's a pattern by Amba O'Brien. She came out with it this Advent season, 2020 Advent season, and she is hosting a throw along, so people are kind of doing the same idea of knitting it throughout 2021. So I'm going to try hard to participate in that. My mom is actually doing the same thing. She's going to do the Advent throw that she started, and she's using my mystery yarn of the month club. So she joined the 12-month version of that club, and she will be knitting each month's mystery colors into the throw. So if you're interested in that, I do have my clubs in my shop at agirlandherwool.com. I thought that was a really nice idea, and it'll be nice to look back on like the full year of it. So anyway, we're both going to be hopefully knitting Advent throws. She will do it. I potentially will do it. Knitting goals. The other knitting goal that I have, and if you watched my 2020 reflections, I talked about this here, there. But I want to up my charity knitting game, and so I have leftovers like we all do, and I started in 2020 of knitting leftovers into charity projects, and I want to keep up with that. So that is a goal that I have, whether it's like one project a month, or when I get into a good kick of it, just try to get a few done. I don't know, but that is something that I want to like always have on the needles and actively going. All right, so that's for knitting. So general idea for knitting is to just enjoy it, do it when I can, and have fun with it. That's the goal for 2021. Oh my gosh, have I been saying 2020? The goal for 2021 is to just have fun with my knitting. All right, so for spinning, because I consider myself a sometime spinner, I've spun one hand spun project, and I got that done in 2020. So my goal for 2021 is to basically do the same thing, one skein, and I'll show it to you guys here. So I have shown this to you guys before, and you can see it's sitting here because it's obviously lined up and ready to go. This is a bat that I got from Loop. Loop. That I got from Loop back at Rhinebeck 2019. And it's just a bullseye bump. So you just pull the fiber from the center and it will create like a self-striping type of thing. And so that is what I want to spin up this year. Just this one thing. That is my goal. Okay, so that's really it for my crafting goals. Again, it's to have fun with it. I don't want to put pressure on myself to do it, and that is because a lot of my time goes to my business. A lot of my free time goes to my business because I do still have a full-time job, and so managing a full-time job and basically a second full-time job is a lot of my time, and I don't want to add crafting as like another job. So that is it for my crafting goals, and I'm gonna move into my business goals next. I will say too, quickly, with crafting, I never do like a make 9. Like I said at the beginning, I have projects planned for that year, but I don't, like, typically write it down or announce it anywhere. Like, you guys see if you follow along with me, I like have plans to do projects, and like a lot of them never come to fruition because there's just too many awesome project patterns out there that like there's just not enough time to knit them all. So I don't do make nines because yes, there are amazing patterns that have come out up until today, but we all know in 2021 designers are going to continue coming up with amazing things that we're all going to want to knit. And so I don't want to hold myself to things that I had planned back then. I like to be open to seeing what is new and exciting too. So anyway, that is that. All right, so moving into my business goals. This is a longer list. This is essentially the bulk of what my goals are for this year. This is what I'm actively working on. I have a lot of goals here that I'm actively working towards. Again, knitting is officially like what I'm going to be doing for fun, what's going to be my fun time. And so here, this is really where my goals are. Okay, so I will say for these business goals, I do have like metrics. So I'm not going to really be sharing the metrics for my business, but I will share kind of like more general goals. So the first one isn't necessarily a goal. It's just going to be something that I want to remind myself for next year to reflect back on. And that's vending at festivals, right? So I talked about at the beginning, I'm assuming things are kind of staying as they are, which would mean festivals aren't happening. Technically, I am signed up to vend for 2 festivals in the fall, which I'm hopeful, you know, those will be safe and able to happen. But at this point, it's a waiting game. It's not up to me. I'm signed up already. There's nothing that I can really do or not do to control whether or not this goal is hit. This is more just a reminder to me for next year to reflect on whether or not I did actually vend at festivals, and hopefully I did, and talk about that because that would be a big change in 2021. So, and again, that was my goal for 2020. And of course it didn't happen for reasons out of my control, but I did put myself forward and sign up. So again, it's just on the list to talk about when it actually happens because it has been a goal of mine. So my second goal for 2021 is to have more collaborations. This was something that I really enjoyed in 2020, and I'm hopeful to continue in 2021. So if you are a designer and you want to collaborate, please feel free to reach out to me. And you know, it's also sponsorships, things like that. So if anyone wants to do a collaboration, putting myself out there, but I'm also going to actively try to get into these things. And it could be, you know, pattern related, it could be anything. So if anyone wants to collaborate, I'm open to hearing about suggestions and opportunities. The third goal in my shop, or my third goal for my business, is to explore having sample knitters. So a lot of my knitting in 2020 went towards sample knitting, and that's fun, and I'm happy to do my sample knitting, but a lot of times I feel like I can't keep up. So like, for example, the slip extravaganza shawl, I still haven't finished it yet, and I feel like if I had been able to knit it faster, having those finished object photos would have been nice in like the height of the excitement of that shawl, versus like when I do finish it, you know, people have moved on already. So just trying to keep up with sample knitting, especially with new colorways and knitting up samples. I will say my mom does help me out. So for example, she actually knit this Radvent wrap that Pythagoras is now laying on, so I won't show it, but she knit this out of the rose gold gradient, basically the kit that Amba used to design the pattern. So she knit that up for me because I knew it wasn't going to happen, and I told her I just needed it for when festivals eventually open up, when I could be showing it. But she worked on it throughout Advent season and got it finished, I think on time, or a day or two after, technically the 24th, but in any case, she got it done and mailed it back, and now I have it. So I will show it off at some point when my cat isn't happy and purring instead of banging on window blinds and being really loud. You're cute. So So again, I want to explore the options. I really haven't thought too much about what sample knitters how it would work. I need to research it logistically, legally, all of that stuff. So if you are interested in becoming a sample knitter, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. And that could even give me the push to research it sooner rather than later. It could be simple as like knitting a sock out of a new colorway. It could be, you know, knitting a shawl. It could be knitting kind of, if I do collaborations, kind of the samples for those. So anyway, that's something that I want to look into. Just, you know, looking to add more efficiencies into my business and my own personal life. I have to admit that I don't have the time to knit as much as I want to, and so if I don't want to be doing sample knitting all the time in 2021, then I do need to look for help in that respect. So that's going to be a goal too, is at least to research it, even if it does or doesn't happen, just to research it, see what it would entail, and maybe start doing it. So the fourth goal is to do limited series clubs. I talked a lot about this when I was like kind of formulating my ideas for 2021 yarn clubs. And what I want to do, I didn't do it for the first quarter because getting the website up and running with the clubs on there was enough of a test. I didn't want to throw another club onto there, but I am thinking, or I am planning to do quarterly limited series clubs. So they would be 3 months and at a time, and so the second quarter one will be a rainbow theme club. So it'll be 3 months, and then that's kind of it. And then the next 3 months I'll pick another theme and do it that way. So that's a goal, is to do my limited series quarterly clubs. So the next goal for my shop, I talked a little bit about it in the collaborations, but I want to offer more pattern-based kits in my shop. And I did a lot of this when I first opened my shop, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that I do offer the any size skeins. And so I want to showcase that, and I want to show that I do sell yarns in all sizes. So for example, I had my time trade shawl kit where I offered up the 5 minis plus the 100-gram skeins, and that was really fun. But even more so, when I first started open, I did more like specifics. So I did so one of the ones that I did was the Soldatna sweater. So that is a 4-colored sweater, but you don't use too much of some of the color work. Like same in this sweater, right? Like you don't use full skeins for all of these individual colors. And so what I did was I created kind of more affordable kits for the Soldatna sweater by just offering up like 40 or 50 gram skeins of some of the contrast colors depending on how much you needed, and then a larger skein for the main color. And I actually did it size based as well, so depending on what size sweater you need, the size skeins were tailored to that. And it just really kind of hopefully makes it more efficient as a knitter to get the yarn you need, and also more affordable, because that was one of my missions when I started my yarn shop, was to offer hand-dyed yarn, like luxury hand-dyed yarn, more affordably by only buying what you need and not buying double of what you need, just because that's how it's sold. So I do want to get back into that. One of my goals for 2020 was to expand a lot of my colorways and to offer new colors, and at this point I feel like I have done that. I still plan to come out with new colors, but I do want to mix and match and come up with more pattern-based kits, especially ones that use little bits of a lot of colors. And so if you have patterns, new or old, that you love, that you would love to see kits for, definitely let me know and I will consider putting it in the shop. And so that's one of my goals, is to offer more pattern-based kits. Another kind of general goal is to just try and stay more ahead. So I mentioned at the beginning of this vlog that I'm going to be filming a few vlogs today, and I had a vacation over the holidays from my full-time job, and I was able to get a lot of dyeing done. So I actually have already dyed the yarn for 2 Dye With Me vlogs, and so I'm going to be filming kind of like the before and after of those today. And I just want to stay more ahead, and not even just with filming these YouTube vlogs, it's really stay more ahead. Like I fell behind on things that I didn't even offer up holiday yarn this year because by the time I got around to it, it would have been January 1st. So I just want to try and stay like more ahead of the game a little bit and think further out and plan more ahead. And so for example, when you're seeing this vlog, I had a shop update this morning, so you can go check out the shop update, and I got a Valentine's Day color in that shop update. So it's the beginning of January, great timing for getting that Valentine's Day yarn versus getting it out in February. So that's something I'm going to try to do, is just try and stay more ahead of the game. A lot of the time in 2020, I just felt like I was always playing catch up. I was always one step behind on everything, and it just gets overwhelming. And so just by trying to stay ahead, and if that means cutting certain things out of my list, then that's what I will do, and just try and stay ahead. So the next goal is separate, but in conjunction with that one, I want to have a personal dye day every single week. And so being dye to order means that I'm constantly dyeing for orders, and I like to get them done as quickly as possible and as quickly as possible. Did that come out right? I want to get the orders dyed up and out of my house as quickly as possible. And what ends up happening is that I end up sacrificing time that I should be dyeing up new colorways, right? And that's why I was falling behind, was I was always dyeing up yarn for orders, and I just never made the time to come up with new things. And so by setting aside like a personal dye day every single week, I think that that's the day that I will come out with new colorways or just play around and be creative. And I think that will be really great for my business in 2021. And again, kind of all building on each other. I've recently really gotten into a really great routine with my business. So I do a little bit of dyeing. I do a few hours of dyeing in the morning before work, and then after work I do a little bit of packaging, and then I prep yarn for the next day. And that has been working really well for me. A lot of the times I would fall into like these really long dye sessions on the weekends, or after work at night, doing like 4 or 5 hours of dyeing, and it was just it would all build. So like dyeing for that many hours straight after a full day of work is exhausting, and then I would have to set aside like a ton of time for packaging and a ton of time for prepping yarn, and you like burn out. So I find that if I do just like a little bit of each thing each day, it's just really helping keep things moving, and I'm not burning out as much. So I'm hoping to keep up with this routine as long as I can. This is one that will definitely change depending on how 2021 goes, because when I'm commuting, I won't be able to dye in the morning because I'll be commuting to work. And if you guys have commutes, you know, you come home from a commute like exhausted. So I'm hoping throughout all of 2021 I can keep up some sort of good routine. It's just going to be a matter of what it looks like if I'm still working from home or if I'm commuting into work again. So those are my business goals, kind of all over the board. Again, not very metric based. I do have metric goals as well, but these are kind of like the more general things that I've been thinking through that I want to continue in 2021. And then just for really quickly, for YouTube, I have been filming 2 times per week consistently for quite a while now, and I think that that's working really well. It's been a really great routine, so I'm hoping to keep up with that 2 times per week. And then if I have like bonus things I want to throw out there, I will. Like tomorrow I will be posting a shop update vlog. So I did do a shop update this morning. You are more than welcome to go check it out at agirlandherwool.com. If you click on new items, you'll see everything there. There's a ton of new stuff in there, lots of new things. So go check it out. But if you want to see it here on the channel, I'm going to be showing everything tomorrow. Or if you're seeing this late, I posted it on Saturday. So again, sticking to my 2 times a week I think will be really great. Even if I do end up commuting back into work by the end of this year, I think I can keep up with the 2 times per week. The new thing that I want to do is try to do more live streaming. So right now I'm setting a goal of doing it maybe once per quarter. I would love to hear some of your feedback. I'm gonna shy away from doing a live dye with me. I've done one before, but I prefer to keep my mask on while I'm dyeing, and I might consider trying it once to see, like taking it on and off, or figure something out, but I'm not sure if it's going to be a live dye with me, but I definitely want to do live streaming. So even if that's while I'm prepping yarn or packaging orders or both, or just sitting and knitting and chatting, I would absolutely love to do that once per quarter maybe. So if you are interested in something like that, let me know and I'll look to setting something up. And then I do post on my blog. I was trying to do it 3 times per week, and I will say my blog is the first thing to go when things get busy. I'm going to, for now, try to keep with my 2 times per week, and it's going to be in conjunction with these YouTube vlogs. So this has been working really well for me. That's what I'm reading my notes off of, is the blog post. So I've been writing up the blog post first. Those are my notes then for the vlog, and then everything kind of goes up. So if people prefer to read, it's available. If they prefer to watch, it's available. So that's kind of my goal for right now, is to just gain consistency by kind of timing these things together. All right, so what does this all mean? My overall theme for the year. So I wrote those goals out first, then I kind of looked back at it, and kind of my overall theme for this year is going to be growth and contentment. So when I first thought of those 2 words, to me they kind of sounded like opposing. Like, how can you want to grow and also still stay content? But the way that I'm thinking about it is, yes, my goal is for my business to grow. I want to grow like in that way with my business, but I also want to make sure I stay content with where I am today. So it's fine to have goals, even if there are goals for 2021. I have longer term goals as well that may or may not ever be attained. And so that means that I just have to stay content with where I am today. For example, it's okay that today I'm not this huge well-known yarn dyer. I can stay content with the followers and the subscribers that I have, because I'm so thankful for all of you, as well as for every single order that I get. But I can still have the goal to grow and grow my followers and grow my community, as well as grow my business. So that's kind of the overall theme, is to try to keep growing, but also to be happy and content with where I am today. And I think a lot of that falls into the knitting category as well, right? Like staying content with, I might not knit more projects this year than I did last year, but I'm content with getting 1 project done this year, and that will be that. So that sums it up for today. Overall theme for 2021 is to continue to grow and stay content with where I am, and just continue meeting all of you. I appreciate every single one of you who comments here. I appreciate you if you're watching, of course, but I am happy to get to know all of you individually as well. So let me know what some of your 2021 goals are, whether they are specific knitting or crafting goals or themes, whatever it is that you are setting yourself up for in 2021. It's nice to think about these things and just kind of say, what do I want this year to be about, and what do I want my focus to be? And then it's nice to look back on it and see if it turned out entirely different. So in any case, I am going to continue on with my day here, and I hope to see you guys all in the shop, because there is a lot of stuff that went live today, and hope to see you on Tuesday for our next dye with me. And until then, have fun. Bye.